Hey, how's it going, guys? It's Technical Tim here, and I want to thank everyone so much for liking all my videos and subscribing to the channel. And I'd really appreciate it if you gave this video a thumbs up or subscribe if you haven't already. And this is just part 2 of the Ben Askren Maya of my preview, and I'm gonna go a lot quicker on this one. And I just have like 5 points. I wrote them all down already that I want to make, and that's kind of that. But before I get to that, I do want to let you know I don't really have any other bets on the card, so I'm not going to go over all the fights. Yeah, so I just wanted to say that. But I'm also going to be on the East Coast in Boston this weekend for like a small weekend vacation, so I probably won't be tweeting as much or as active, maybe not even that active during the card, although I might tweet a little bit during the card. But win, lose, or draw on the Maya Askren fight, I'll do a recap video on it and kind of just talk about it, and that will probably come out Sunday, probably like a day after, just because I'm going to be out of town. I don't get back till Sunday, so I want to let you know. But yeah, I just have 4 points I want to make, and First, I just want to say I'm so excited for this fight. The closer it's getting, Askren Maya, it's super rare that you get two specialists who are so unique in the way they specialize grappling. Ben's just he's really just he's made his game to where he forces people to folk style wrestle with him, and Maya has kind of just transformed his game, and he forces people to just play a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu game where he is always kind of making them have to fight off back takes and top game Jiu-Jitsu. So they're so specialized, and it's really rare that you get a matchup like this, because even Shields and Maya are kind of like a little bit of a hybrid of wrestling and jiu-jitsu. And Askren is just, he's a little bit of a hybrid of jiu-jitsu and wrestling, but he's so folk style based. So it's just, I'm so excited, man. I'm really excited for this fight. The funny thing is, to most people, this fight could be very boring. And I hope it doesn't end early. I hope Maya doesn't catch an early sub, because I'm kind of picking Ben to win, but I totally understand that Maya could catch a sub in an early transition. But I'm hoping the fight plays out for a while, because I just want to see this fight play out in all the grappling exchanges, because I did a video that you could, that's on this channel, of Askren, and I kind of just watched his Jake Herbert matchup from 2007 in the NCAA D1 finals, or 2006 maybe, around that time. And you kind of see the beauty of his scrambles, and because no one really forces shots or wrestling with Askren all that much, you don't see his scrambles all that often. But in this fight, it will be a lot of fun to watch that. It could get him into trouble, but I tend to think that he will be a little careful in some of his scrambles, but I'm just really excited for it overall. But the points I wanted to make, go watch my other video. I'm not going to do any more background on it, but things that I just didn't mention in that video or emphasize as much that I wanted to say, and then I'll just wrap this video up, is the half guard sweep that I talked about for Maya. I do think that's going to work a lot early when Maya's energized, but I tend to think, so I think he'll be getting up a lot, but I also think just because he's getting taken down and getting back up, I think that could actually play into Askren's game, because I think that will just make Maya even more tired, having to force his way back up. That's a tiring thing, to get taken down and have to get back up. And Askren can kind of play a takedown game all day, and he's a lot younger and has better grappling cardio than Maya, so I think that could play into Askren's game, that Maya will be getting up a lot, because I do think Maya will be using that half guard and getting back up, but on his way back up, he's going to get caught in the front headlock a lot. And if you watch go watch BJJ Scout, his video, he released it today, and I talked about how those are that was one of the two positions that Askren could land ground and pound on, is the front headlock. And the and the half guard position. And even just in closed guard too, I think Askren can land ground and pound. He kind of did it to Shinya Aoki where he would control hands and throw ground and pound. And BJJ Scout went over the front headlock position specifically, and he talked about that. And that guy's really good. I enjoy that guy's channel. And yes, I think that half guard sweep, I think it's going to work a lot for Maia early, and he's going to get back up. But I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. I think it could lead to front headlock positions for Askren and them just clinching up, because like I think there will be times of them striking at distance on the feet for sure, but I think these guys are going to grapple a lot. I think they're going to go up against the cage a lot and trade off positions in the clinch too. Then I want to emphasize number 2 is that Demian Maia, he totally can catch a sub here. I think Askren's going to win this fight, but I don't live in a world of kind of absolutes. There's a reason there's lines and there's betting lines. It's because both guys have a chance to win in any fight. And I totally think Maia could catch a sub. So if people are super worried about that, I think live betting is a good opportunity here, because Maia's going to be competitive early for sure. And especially in the first couple rounds, I think if it's about 1-1 going into round 3 and the live bet is pretty close, if the lines are close, I think Askren would be a good bet there. So I wanted to point that out because I think it could mitigate the early submission risk of Maia, because I still think Maia can get a sub. I just tend to think if he doesn't get the sub, he's going to lose. Third point I wanted to make, the ground and pound of Askren is a lot more powerful than people think. I know he doesn't hit hard on the feet, and he looks, I mean, honestly, I think you could get your average dude or your average athlete to outstrike Askren in just a boxing match, seriously. And he doesn't look really good standing or powerful at all, but when he's on the mat, he hits a lot harder than you think. And he's busy with his ground and pound, and he's creative with the way he lands ground and pound. He'll kind of use wrist rides, a lot of different things, and he'll fight hands. He'll hold your hands even if he's in your guard, your full guard, like he did to Aoki. I know Aoki's a lot smaller, but I could totally see Askren being on top of a tired Maia and landing some pretty big shots. Because I do think Askren hits a little harder on the ground than people are giving him credit for. And I think a comparison to that is watch Colby at the end of round 3 against Maia. Colby kind of, like his ground and pound is similar to Askren's. I don't think Colby, I'm not saying Askren can hit harder on the feet than Colby, but on the mat, I don't think their ground and pound is that differentiated. I think it's pretty similar actually, because Colby isn't a heavy hitter. I mean, he definitely hits harder on the feet than Askren, but on the mat, it's just busyness and constant striking from the front headlock position. And I do think Askren will be able to land some of that later in the fight. And another thing I want to say, although Maia certainly can sub Askren once he gets his back, once he gets Askren's back, I don't think Askren is completely 100% fucked if he gets his back taken. And there's 3 fights where Maia gets a back and 3 different things happen. So the first one was against Lyman Good, and Lyman Good didn't fight hands. And you could also watch the BJJ Scout, and he actually talks about this, and you can see a video clip of it. Lyman Good doesn't fight hands, so Maia gets an easy rear naked choke. Jorge Masvidal, he just fight hands, and he goes 2-on-1. And he fights hands whenever Maia has his back, and he kind of just avoided it perfectly fine. And I think Askren, he's a master at hand fighting and keeping wrist control, because what he does in folk style wrestling is he rides people and he controls their wrists to kind of manipulate their bodies and keep top position. And I think he's fully capable of fighting hands if his back gets taken to maybe avoid the choke. Not for sure. And I mean, it's still a dangerous position, but I do think he could escape out. And if you add on his scrambling ability that he has, I think with his hand fighting and scrambling ability, he could escape a back take. I'm not saying it's good, and it's definitely a threatening position, but I do think he's capable of getting out. And then the third time was another back take of Maia's that I wanted to emphasize that Askren could maybe implement to also escape, is when Kamaru Usman got his back taken, he didn't abandon the overhook. And if you remember in that fight, it was the first round, and Usman kept an overhook for like 3 minutes, and the ref broke them up. And usually, like, I don't agree with that separation, but I do think it's justifiable in the sense, because if you don't abandon the overhook like Usman did, nothing's going to happen. They're just going to sit there. So it was kind of what we call in wrestling a stalemate, where they actually do stop the match in a stalemate and reset you. And the ref kind of did it there. It was almost like a stalemate. So I think that stand-up, although Maia had his back, the ref understood the position, because I know he had his back, but he had the overhook, Usman. So Maia couldn't really do anything. And you know, overhooks and whizzers, they're the same thing, overhook and whizzers. They're very prevalent in wrestling, and Askren knows how to whizzer. And so I think if he gets his back taken, he can just kind of maintain a whizzer to stay out of danger as well, and kind of force a stalemate. So I think he has answers for back takes, but I'm not saying it's a good thing. And hopefully he does the right things to avoid the back takes altogether. So he doesn't have to have those answers anyway. But that's all I wanted to say. This was a quick video. I just wanted to get that out there. But I do want to say it's funny because, you know, I have a bet on Askren, and I do think he's going to win. But I totally understand the risks, and Maia's alive in this fight. But Maia's my favorite fighter ever. So this is a guy, I kind of have mixed feelings about this one, because Maia's personally my favorite fighter ever. And I think he should be a future Hall of Famer, actually. And I think one of the more impressive things about Maia's resume is I think he's 21-8. 21-8 in the UFC. And he's only been finished one time ever. And think about the guys he's fought. Anderson Silva, Woodley, Usman, Maia. Just a lot of tough guys. Guys like Rick Story. So he's been around the block, and in about 30 UFC fights, fighting the best of the best. He's only been finished once, so he's tough. But yeah, that's all I wanted to say, and thank you so much. And comment below if you have any questions. Thank you, guys.